I know this will work. And that's what pisses me off.
Nobody's going to get my sweet Frozen gag.
Nope.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I like to do that to people on Skype business calls.
No, it says we're still waiting now.
Oh, I got a YouTube notification though. You're live.
That I'm live?
It said that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the live page right now, and I ain't live. Oh, there it is.
That's us.
There it is.
That's what. Oh, I got a YouTube notification. I almost dropped that in my beer. This is pretty meta.
I'm looking at the live page right now, and I ain't All right, live. Kill it.
No.
I'm going to go on a rant here. I'm going to go on a rant because I am so pissed off at YouTube right now. So for the record, we started live at about 8:03. Okay. We were live. Now, for those who are just joining us, thank you, and those who have been in chat, thank you. But YouTube today kicked me out of their Creator Classic for live streaming setup and forced me to go through the studio beta. So I said, okay, I'll do that. I'll give it a whirl, even though I've tried it 4 times before, and every single time it fails to live stream. It gives me a new stream key. However, every single time I use that stream key, it never shows up on YouTube. Okay, let me try it again. Put in the new stream key into OBS. Load everything into the new studio beta. Finally go live. Or first off, it broke my restream chat, so I had to completely rebuild the restream setup because apparently YouTube has 2 different methods of handling the studio beta live and the legacy live. Had to rebuild the chat. I figured while I'm at it, I'll add Discord integration, so that's why we have Discord integration now. We went live, and it showed in the studio beta that I was live. However, every single link that I clicked on to preview the video was dead. You guys couldn't see that I was live. Notifications weren't enabled that I was live. Nothing worked. Lo and behold, I jumped my way back to the Studio Classic, entered my old stream key, and I'm freaking live again. Unacceptable, YouTube. This is why no one wants to use the new system, is it doesn't fucking work. It doesn't work, and I'm so tired of it. Rant over. Welcome to the show, everyone. Episode 108 of Talking Heads.
Yeah. That's how you start a show.
Your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. At least when YouTube decides to let me go live. I'm Jeff.
I'm Rhett.
Freaking hell. Yeah.
That was it. That was the money.
Let's start with a rant counter. There we go. Yeah, anyway, thank you for joining us. YouTube, get wrecked. Yeah. I am so freaking irritated right now. Excellent beginning to the show. What's really funny is before I realized that we weren't live because a couple of people in chat started going, I wonder when Jeff's going to start the show. Hey, Hops and Brews, have you heard? Is Jeff okay? Is everything... Are we going to go... I went, what do you mean we're not live? Because the studio beta dashboard showed that I was watching a preview of it.
And we were even like chatting with people, like typing and stuff.
Right.
You know, so it was confusing.
Right. And I said, hey, we're drinking a beer. Let me know what you're drinking down in the chat. And no one responded.
Oh, somebody did, though.
Yeah.
They were like, well, maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought somebody was like, oh, I'm pouring my first drink or something.
Right.
I think that was Becky. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
Yeah.
That was confusing to me.
Yeah. So we were live for almost 15 minutes. And I was live.
Yeah. Yeah, that is Brother Thelonious. Y'all missed the beer intros.
Yep.
Right now we're drinking Level Up
Level beer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Level beer.
Level beer. Keep doing that. Pixelated Pale. Northwest Pale Ale. Brewed in a barn.
Brewed in a barn here in Portland, Oregon, and as I said, their can art is always off the hook. This is kind of that's still not hooked up. It's still not going to work.
I gotta redo all my jokes.
So the beer pixelated on the front. Love the beer. Fantastic beer.
It's really good.
We kind of praised it for a couple of minutes there that you missed.
Yeah, while you guys were missing it, we wouldn't shut up about how good the beer was.
Right.
So let us give you the annotated version. It's really good.
It's really good.
Go get one.
Yep. Pretty inexpensive too. It was $9 or $10, I think, for the 4-pack.
Oh, that's not bad.
So I mean,
hey, brewed in a barn.
$2.50 a pint. I mean,
that's pretty good.
It's pretty darn good.
All right.
12 people still on the other chat. What's really funny is this chat is the same chat that. Oh no, it's a different chat.
Yeah.
What the heck?
I know. Wake me up when they introduce ray traced pale. That's pretty good.
YouTube, this is why everyone is frustrated with you. This exact thing is why everyone is frustrated with you. I'm just trying to run a channel. I'm just trying to live stream. And Studio Beta should let me do the things that I need to do. It should let me search chat and let me search comments for relevant information that I'm looking for. It should let me modify my existing videos. It should let me upload videos in a way that's user-friendly. It should let me freaking live stream. However, I was live on Studio Beta. Everything new was set up. Nothing worked. And I'm shocked because that's the 5th time that I've tried it. This is the first time that I've actually gotten a preview window up. But for 5 times in a row, it's broken. It doesn't work. Fix it. How hard is this? Welcome to the show. All right. Let me know what you're drinking in chat, please. I need to hear what you guys are drinking. Yes, this is Brother Thelonious. Where is the whiskey? We were actually planning on doing a whiskey cocktail tonight. I didn't have quite enough time to think of what I wanted to do. So, depending on how the show goes, I might make one before the end of the show, though.
Yeah, sounds like we might need one.
Yep. The show was going to be a little bit lighter in news content. However, considering we're starting almost half hour late, thanks to YouTube, we'll see how this goes. But shockingly, not a lot of news the week of Thanksgiving. So we're hoping to have a pretty extended time for Q&A and chat at the end of the video. So keep your questions loaded and let's get into it. Starting with ESports is getting their own official beer.
Here we go. I feel like I've heard this before.
Yeah,
this is deja vu.
We were actually done with this story. ESports getting their first official beer. ESports GFW, which stands for Goes for the Win. Because apparently they're using the hip gamer lingo, yo.
Have you ever used GFW?
GFW? No.
Like you're playing like UT04 and you're like, GF dub, bro, GF dub. No, because nobody who plays games ever goes for the win.
Right. It's been 5 years since I've said FTW when I wasn't talking about an EVGA card.
Right. That's very true. Dang it, we missed the whole story about AFK earlier and everything.
Right. Well, the beer is called AFK, which for you gamers for you non-gamers stands for away from keyboard. As in, hey guys, I needed to go take a break from the screen for a while.
Or if you're playing Dota, it means you suck. AFK? Question mark?
Yeah. Yeah. AFK.
Anyways.
No, I wasn't AFK. I was actually really trying that time. Well, you suck anyway.
The only real response when somebody asks you if you are AFK, or if they just oust you in all chat immediately, they're like, "Oh, don't worry about that. He was AFK."
Yeah.
You're like, "Yeah, I was."
Yeah. Cat sat on my keyboard. Sorry, guys.
Oh, dang! Tit for tat. We're getting the jokes in verbatim. This is a great show.
We are back on track.
Anyway,
on
so
target.
they're brewing a beer, Levant Brewing, or Levant? Levante? Levant. I'm going with Levant Brewing
We'll go
in Philadelphia. They're brewing. It's called the AFK. Oh, they're working with Team Secret, who is a...
We are on a CRT TV right now.
Oh. Dude, my favorite,
That's
though,
kick-ass.
is that CRTV is obviously useful because... Okay, VCR, sure. But right next to it, you got your Nintendo.
Yeah. There's
you got,
there's an SNES.
What's
there's
crazy,
a
is that
Nintendo.
like a common Nike box? Like, is that what all Nikes come in? Is just an orange box?
a lot of them, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a Nike shoebox there.
Because I actually have a bunch of Super Nintendo
I love the
cards.
VHS drawers on the bottom of it.
Yeah, that sucks. Just kidding. I just came from Portland Retro Gaming Expo last month, where CRT TVs and VCRs and everything was just like, it was everywhere. It was weird. I mean, just weird because people were like legitimately selling VHS like they're important.
Yep.
Which I guess in a way they are.
Yeah.
Why not? Why am I being so mean to
Yeah, jeez.
VHS collectors?
Jeez.
Look,
Well, probably
you're
because I
important.
think every Master Edition is worth $300.
Yeah,
The shoebox is the game
That's
holder.
what I was gonna say. I got the same exact Nike shoebox holding some SNES cartridges.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah, beer. It's gonna debut. Oh, it did debut at the International Dota 2 Championship in Shanghai this past August.
That's right. Limited availability in China, Japan, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. You can buy it direct in stores, as well as direct shipped to 24 other states. So if you want to try ESports GFW AFK Pale, you can do that if you're able to get direct ship beer, or you live in one of those 3 states, or China or Japan.
Yeah. Cool. Anyways, moving on.
We're on 2 CRTs. Heck yeah, we're on a
What?
looks like a 17-inch CRT monitor. Badass.
I told
Epos Vox would be proud, you guys.
you. I told you. Widescreen's gonna die out.
That's right. The only CRT I still have is a 20-inch TV. I keep it around. It's a flat screen CRT, but it's only 20-inch, so it's small enough that I can still keep it. But it's still, I mean, it's a big one. But for playing retro games, for hooking up the NES and what like that, I love playing on CRT. So
Yeah, you know, the purists say that that's the only way to do that.
it is in fact a 17-inch. Nailed it.
Wow.
Nailed it.
Good for you. I think he's just making you feel better. Take a picture of that with a tape measure. Show us the truth.
It's going to be like 15.6 visible. So the frame of it's going to be 17 inches. But
All right.
remember with CRTs, there was like 1.5 inches or 2 inch
Yeah,
that
true.
they didn't let you account for with the bezel.
All right, well, let's see what the tape says.
Yeah, now it has to be screen viewable or within reason. So anyway,
All right, San Jose,
hey,
Camino Brewing.
first story done. 8:36. We're not even to the end of beer news yet.
What can I say?
Take it away.
We're almost to the end of beer. Oh, you're not. You were actually working, figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
I was stress drinking.
You're stressed.
San Jose's
Now we
Camino
understand how
Brewing-
both of us respond in a stressful situation.
Yeah, no, you're right. You get down to work, and I'm just like, oh, jeez. Here we go. All right, I'm going to say it this time, and I'm going to get through the whole headline. San Jose's Camino Brewing offering a Lyft with a new beer.
That's right.
Ride Smart partnership launches on Thanksgiving Eve party night. I dig it. Yeah. There you go, guys. If you're in San Jose. Is it only in San Jose?
Yes, only in San Jose. So Camino Brewing, off very similar to what Widmeir did a little while ago. I think they did that a couple times. And there was one other beer that had a Lyft beer that came with a code for a coupon on a ride. So Camino is offering a 20% discount up to $5 off a ride. However, there are some limitations on this one. You have to use it within the first 24 hours of entering the code off the beer can. And you have to use it in San Jose. Only works in San Jose right now. So it is a very limited thing. But the beer is wherever your path may lead. It is a West Coast Pale, I believe. Hazy IPA. Hazy Pale, excuse me. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Apparently Thanksgiving Eve is one of the deadliest nights on the road, so that makes me feel great having to drive home tonight.
Right. Nationwide, more than 800 people died in alcohol-related crashes during the Thanksgiving holiday from 2012 to 2016. That's
a lot better than I thought it would be.
800 over a 5-year period?
That's a lot of people, but I'm just thinking like it would have been higher.
Yeah. It's a lot of people. It always sucks, especially with alcohol-related stuff. Be safe out there, guys. Don't drink and drive. You see us drink on this channel, none of us drive drunk. None of us drive even remotely buzzed. We usually sit here till about midnight or 12:30 just chatting about random things. So if we have had a little bit, they sober up before they need to leave. So, be safe. Be safe this holiday. Big Spoon, $1.99 donation. I like when you let your beard.
Me too, bro.
You like when I let my beard grow? Is that one? What that one is? Because sometimes I'll do the side. Sometimes I'll shave it off.
Maybe he means pet your beard, because that L is right next to the P.
Oh yeah.
And I've been petting my beard a lot, so weird flex, but okay.
Yep. Bite my bits. You need a real beer, like Bud Light Lime.
That is a real.
Well, it's better than orange. I'll say that. But you need a real beer. For those who don't follow me on Twitter, you missed a little bit of pregame chivalry between myself and Jason over at Bite My Bits. He tried to Smirnoff Ice me. He goes, "You've been iced," and he goes, "This doesn't work over internet, does it?" And so I said, "You've been Fremonted," and I sent him a Fremont 2019 edition coffee stout.
Oh.
And then I said, "Wait, we should probably do this in reverse because you're just going to waste it, and then I have to drink Smirnoff Ice." So.
Don't knock the ice, bro.
I'll knock the ice. I will knock that ice.
Yo, be nice. Don't knock the ice.
That's right. Good to see you, buddy. All right.
Next story.
Hey.
Out of beer news. We did it.
End of beer news. I don't even know how long we are into this show. 17 minutes. Took us 17 minutes to get through two beer stories today.
Hey, well, we had...
Because I ranted at YouTube for 20.
2 rants in there, yeah.
Yeah, what's great is before we realized we weren't live, I was already ranting at YouTube for how convoluted the new Studio Beta Live system was. And then, lo and behold, it didn't end up working.
Yeah, well, what do you expect?
My phone will not focus on the tape measure, but it is 16 inches. Yeah. Oh.
I like how just nonchalant.
All right, let's get into a little bit of tech news, because after all, that's what the show is all about. This one, and there's not really any consumer tech news to talk about. There's a couple of small stories later in the show, and we'll get to those. But there's a couple enterprise level gaffes that I just had to laugh at today, and I thought they were definitely worthy of speaking of on the show. Starting with this news story came out a couple of days ago, and it was pretty well described. But of course, the Register has probably the best article written, and it is "Lo, the gospel according to HP Enterprise," and lo, on the 32,768th hour, did the SSD give up thy ghost? Because HP Enterprise SSDs apparently have a firmware bug. And that is, once the runtime exceeds 32,768 hours, the SSD dies. And I don't mean like stops responding or, oh no, the controller literally craps the bed and refuses to be recognized by any interface device. So you can't plug it into another server. You can't. And for those who didn't get it right off the bat, 32,768 happens to be the 16-bit overflow number.
Yeah.
So basically, this is a case of HP using the 16-bit using a 16-bit memory chip to record the data and hard code the data onto the drive. However, once that chip is full, drive no work no more because it has nowhere to dump that or to write more data out to. $1.99. How to make brown chicken and brown cow sound sexy? Are you okay?
Maybe.
Are you okay, man?
Brown.
Yeah.
Cow?
But brown chicken? I don't know where you're at right now.
How to make brown chicken and brown cow?
$2. Drink a Bud Light Orange. No.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't.
But I'm right there with you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, for real, how do
Seriously.
you make them sound sexy? Hit us up in the chat.
Anyway, HP actually has a little bit of a history with using hardware-based recording for something that should be software-based. So basically, HP put a 16-bit NAND chip of some kind, and I'm assuming this is going to be a hardware chip. And as soon as the buffer overflows, the controller dies. Well, HP has a similar problem with their 5130 Aruba switches. Their 5130 Aruba switches have a hardware limitation for how many MAC addresses that they can store on the device. That is, they can only store 1024, or if you get the HI version of the switch, they can store 2048 MAC addresses. Or it's something like that. It's right around those numbers. It's either 1 byte or 2 bytes worth of data. So basically what they're requiring is if you plug a device into a switch, it registers a MAC address on the switch. However, it's limited to a hardware address space on the switch rather than just putting it into a software table. $2 to insult Bite My Bits. Drink some real beer.
Got him.
Got him.
Got him.
Got him. What do you think about that, Jason? That's right. I'm calling you out. Trust me, I'll insult him at CES. and Jason will be drinking a craft beer, so stay tuned for that on the show, I'm assuming. But on HP's 5130 switches, it requires basically hardware addressing, so hardware level addressing of the switch in something that should have been taken care of by software. And if you didn't know, this is a 48-port switch. If this is a top-of-rack switch, totally legit, there's going to be 2,000 devices downstream from it. In fact, it can hold millions of packets per second. And so the idea that that's going to be happening from less than 2,000 devices is kind of absurd, let alone 1,000 devices, which is really absurd. Yeah. I thought it was rather funny that, yet again, HP being bit by a 16-bit overflow. All right. Glad my SSD is Samsung. This is just an enterprise SAS SATA problem. This is nothing that would really affect anyone on the home market, unless you happen to pick up an HP enterprise SSD on eBay or something like that. Let's see. Craft computing, that was weak, like Jason's beer. I get you. Take a shot of Jack Daniels with Bite My Bits at CES. You know, I'll take a shot of Jack, but I'd rather do something a little bit higher brow than that if we're going to go whiskey.
Well, you don't shoot anything higher brow than that.
Right. You totally don't. Right. Yeah.
You're nursing.
Oh!
Dang. Dude, that's
a good one. That's a good one.
Yo.
Yeah.
Call the ambulance, because you got you.
Yeah. Look up burn wards in Salem, Oregon. There we go.
Not me, though, dog.
That's right. So, yeah, Jason, $5 donation. Thank you, buddy. You just bought halfway to a real beer.
Well, not necessarily. That could be a real beer. It doesn't have to be halfway. That could be a whole real beer, Jason. Don't let these guys get you down.
Oh, I think this one was $17 or $18 for the 6-pack. Which is still not terrible. But not terrible.
For a 6-pack, though, that's
For a
less than $5
right.
per beer.
It is, yeah.
So...
You bought me a North Coast Brewing Brother Thelonious.
I was like, damn, that's expensive. And it is, but also less than $5.
Yep. Jason, we have to drink these a little bit slower because they actually have alcohol in them. It's weird. All right, moving into some more news. This is going to be a problem if he's going to stay on this show tonight. Some more enterprise news. Splunk, which offers a number of different cloud-hosted services, but one of their most popular is probably uptime monitoring. They do a lot of data monitoring, data shaping. As an IT professional or a data center manager, you know if your servers are up, what the bandwidth loads on them are, what your hardware is doing, a whole bunch of different stuff like that. They encountered a really weird bug that finally proves true that Y2K may have been an issue at one point. Now, Y2K, for those who don't remember, ended up being nothing. There was this great fear that all of our nuclear missiles were going to launch at the same time, pointed at random directions and start World War III. Or that the banks won't be able to process any money because, it'll say 1900 on the machines instead of 2000. Which to some extent was a legitimate concern. However, everything was patched well in advance, and the few machines that did have problems were pretty much non-existent. They just didn't cause problems. Everyone busting out CRTs now.
I mean, let's not go saying that Y2K was nothing, because what it was my pantry being filled with non-perishables.
That's right.
And potable water.
Yep.
And batteries.
Yep.
So I had to eat a lot of canned tomatoes and beans for the following year after that. So there we are.
There we are.
Just nothing.
Now we're up to date.
I drink Johnny Walker before Jack any day of the week. That's because Johnny Walker is higher quality than Jack.
I wouldn't say their red label is. Johnny Walker just straight up red. It's okay.
It's on par with Jack.
It's on par with Jack. I would say that.
Yeah.
But I'm not shooting scotch. Like I'll take a shot of Jack. But if I'm sitting down with a scotch, I want to sit there and enjoy it and and sip on it.
Stop yawning.
And flip a coin between Johnny Red and Jack Daniels. But if I've got like a Johnny Double Black or something like that, $35-$40 bottle, it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
I'd rather take that any day.
Yeah, I just shoot Johnny Blue all day, nonstop.
You didn't get a chance to do that, but that was a lot of fun.
I know.
When I said basically leave the bottle, and they did.
I was really hoping to have that, but they didn't have any Johnny Blue. So.
No, so we drank Dewar's 12 most of the night.
Yeah.
Which is still not a bad way to go.
Yeah. It also got to the point where I was happy, like, just putting that in anything.
Yeah. A little scotch and ginger.
I drank a lot of scotch and ginger. And I'm not ashamed to admit that after your like fifth or sixth like whiskey neat, you just start putting whatever in.
Right. Orange juice. All right. So Splunk encountered what looks like a Y2K-style bug. However, it's going to hit them January 1st, 2020. And basically, unpatched instances of Splunk will be unable to extract and recognize timestamps submitted that is in the 2-digit date format. So basically, once we roll over into 2020, there's some kind of an overflow where it will revert back to the Unix time, January 1st, 1970. Or no, in addition, beginning on September 13th, 2020. Yeah, okay, so the... well, that's weird. That's not the 2032 bug. Huh.
No, the 2032 bug's a different one.
Yeah, that's the Unix time signature. Well, apparently on September 13th, 2020, at 12:26:39 p.m. UTC, it will revert back to January 1st, 1970, 0000 UTC. So that's a different bug entirely.
Yeah. The what's interesting about the 2032 one is that it was actually like the basis for one of the most interesting time traveler hoaxes or conspiracy theories, depending on where you believe. Look up John Teeter to learn more. Anyways.
Yep. Big Spoon, LTX 2020, you mean Bite My Bits Jack Shots. Absolutely. If I'm able to go this year, yes, you're on. I'll let you buy me a shot. And I'll pay to watch Bite My Bits drink a shot too, because that'll be funny. But the issue with a lot of this is that it's going to corrupt new entries into Splunk's database, and it could also randomly delete or mark for deletion sooner than anticipated data that's already in the system, thinking that it's exceeded the time limit. Excuse me. So this is a pretty major problem. Supposedly, Splunk does have a patch. You need to patch before the beginning of the year if you do use Splunk. But there are hundreds and thousands of instances of Splunk installed out there and in use. And definitely something that you guys need to take care of if you run Splunk. I don't. We actually use PRTG in a lot of our network closets. And it's very similar to Splunk. I just like the interface a little bit better. It's still fairly expensive for what it is, because you have to pay per sensor that you use. So reading the ambient temperature inlet on a server, one of 5 ambient temperature inlets, costs you $1 a year. Times about like 7,000 instances or sensors per server. Yeah, it gets up there. You think Jason's man enough for a shot? If someone buys it for him, he'll drink it. I think so. I think he'll drink it. All right. Tell you what. If... boy, I don't know if I want to throw this down, because that's 12 ounces versus 1.5. And I know he could do a shot. Like, anyone could do a shot. Boy, I wonder if I could do... Jason, if I order you a cocktail of my choosing and of my liking, I will drink a Bud Light.
Oh.
We'll meet in the middle.
Oh.
We'll meet in the middle.
Can we do that? I'll drink a cocktail of your choosing if you drink a Bud Light. What is wrong with me and my words tonight?
I don't know. Mine are failing me too.
Gotta wake up.
That's right. Anyway, we are on no less than like 5 CRTs tonight, and that's freaking awesome.
Can we break the world record?
Doubtful.
Considering once upon a time there were national broadcasts
right.
that happened on CRTs.
You know, Tom Brokaw may have the record for most faces on a CRT at a single time.
Really?
Just throwing a name out there of, you know, who was always on TV and who would have been watching. And
interesting, because you said Tom Brokaw, and I was thinking of another Tom Brokaw.
Yeah, different Tom Brokaw.
I was like, why him? And you're like, I don't know, dude, just throwing names out there.
And
I was like, what?
No, the newscaster. The newscaster. Different Tom Brokaw.
Dude.
Not Tom over at Modders Inc. Editor-in-chief over at Modders Inc.
That killed me. That's his last name,
It
right?
is, yeah. Yeah. No, that is Tom Brokaw. But no, the other Tom Brokaw.
I was like, how? How did
Tom break that?
Oh, no.
No, Tom Brokaw, Brian Williams. You know, you think of like the NBC major news anchors kind of things.
Yeah. Tom Brokaw would be one.
You know, actually, Matt Lauer, Olympics broadcasts.
Yeah.
You think not just U.S. but globally.
Worldwide.
Maybe
I was
going
to
to
say Walter Cronkite. I couldn't remember.
Walter
his name,
Cronkite
though.
might also be up there, but Walter Cronkite was a lot earlier in how many people actually had TVs and
That's
whatnot.
true.
And so it's an economy of scale once you get into the 90s and very early 2000s of how many TVs were actually in existence before flat screens started taking over.
Yeah.
And I think like 2002, 2003 was probably that golden era of CRTs.
Here's something I wonder now, and since I got an audience, maybe y'all can answer me. It's like, but if you were to burglarize a home, which I know none of you will,
Right.
are you going to be like loading up TVs?
In the old days, you did because
But
you could get
now-
400 resale for them.
Yeah, but now, today.
Now,
If you were like...
No.
You know all the homes that were going to be empty for Thanksgiving because
No.
of whatever reason. Would you take the TVs?
there is more money in one box in my liquor cabinet than there are in TVs on my wall right now.
Isn't that startling, though? You
Right.
nailed my point on the head with what you were saying before, because it's like... My dad was telling a story the other day about how he woke up and somebody was stealing his TV, and I was like, I know you, and you're like... You didn't have TVs worth stealing. Goes, those were expensive back then. I was like, okay, you got me. Like,
Right.
Because it's just crazy. If somebody was stealing my TV, I'd be like, let me help you, sir. I'm like, don't hurt your back.
Jason says, shot for shot, let's see who vomit comets first.
Oh.
Keep in mind, the ABV that I'm going to be giving you is like 25.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm staying home. No, I'm not.
He chugs one beer, now scared to pour another. Let's get some proper glassware and not drink it out of the can like a Neanderthal.
Dang, dude, he's easily baited here.
I know.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. It's because I care about my stuff, Jason.
Ooh, this looks delish.
That is like...
Oh, it smells delicious.
It's not quite black, but it is very coffee-like.
Dude, it smells straight up like chocolate ice cream.
It does.
So, sorry. Sorry that I bought a chocolate
Dude,
ice
it smells like a sundae.
cream. Uh-oh. Yeah, let's get some head on there.
Cocoa Cow Chocolate Milk Stout by Sun River Brewing here in Sun River, Oregon. 7%. Contains lactose. Warning! Warning!
Oh, yeah. You're not lactose intolerant, are you?
I happen to be.
Oh, well, sorry.
I still drink it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry for your family.
It's not me who's going to be sorry. It's them.
Want a nipple for that beer? Dude, sign me up. Thanks. Makes nursing easier. Nipples and beers, dude. Don't get much better than that.
That's right.
Wow, that's good.
It's really good.
I wish it was a little colder, but
Yeah, it's very chocolatey.
yeah.
It's very chocolatey. And not a dark chocolate like you get on a lot of stouts. It's genuinely a milk chocolate.
Yeah. I'm down. I'm down. Anyways.
Anyway,
Dude, he's just got you. He got you, son.
word of warning. If you are out holiday shopping this weekend, if you are looking at buying a Chromebook
this is
for a loved one, a kid, something like that, just because a Chromebook is cheap doesn't mean it is a good deal. And the reason being is Google puts expiration dates on every single Chromebook. A Chromebook from the original date of manufacture, so the original date that a Chromebook was made, or a model of Chromebook was made, rather, has a 5-year life expectancy. It has a 5-year life. Google will only update that Chromebook for 5 years.
You know, it's not just their Chromebooks, though. They do the same thing with their phones, I think.
Right.
It might not be 5 years exactly, but a buddy of mine had the Pixel 1 and ended up having to get rid of it because it's no longer supported.
Right.
Well, he didn't have to get rid of it, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, so, things to think about when you're hitting all those Black Friday deals this coming up weekend. Or week, if you're an online savvy tech shopper like yours truly. But But, you know, as long as you're keeping an eye out on the manufacture date, you should be good. Or, actually, it's not even just the manufacture date. It's the date of release of the product, right? So, keep your eyes on those things. Your Chromebooks are kind of handy.
They are kind of handy. I've used one a couple of times, and they're fine for checking email and things like that. My daughter has one for school, and I've used one out and about a couple of times. They're not bad. They are handy.
One of the things I like about them is that with the Google Drive suite of, you can do almost everything you need that a regular laptop can do. Mm-hmm. But the battery lasts like 16 hours.
Right.
It's freaking ridiculous.
That is the plus side to one.
Yeah.
The downside to one is I can't video edit on one.
No, you can't do hardly anything on them.
Right. Could you install Ubuntu or a Linux distro on one? And actually, there is a Chromebook-based Linux distro, an Ubuntu-based distro. Trying to remember what it was called. But no, that is an excellent point. Someone said it sounds like anti-consumer BS.
Yeah,
I would disagree. The reason being, they're giving the Chromebooks 5 years of life expectancy. And so from the original date that the Chromebook is released, it gets 5 years worth of updates. This could be updates as far as the hardware drivers that are inside of it. This could be security updates, major OS revisions, etc., etc. At a certain point, you need to cut off the dead weight and then move forward with your product. That product being Chrome OS. And so I don't disagree with Google's position here, especially being that these are the bargain basement hardware of the tech world. I mean, we're talking you can get a Chromebook for $140. So how long do you really need to support a $140 device with updates? Yes, it's still possibly viable for some things, but at the same time, 5 years is an eternity in tech time. And if you've supported a device and a set of hardware for 5 years, it might be time to move on and stop developing for it. Yeah. And the thing is with Chrome is they roll all of their updates into a downloadable package for this hardware. And to keep that download lightweight, they actually cut out the old weight when they're done. So they're not going to allow a Chromebook that doesn't have the up-to-date hardware to download the latest updates. Yeah. It really does make sense.
And it's not as though like your freaking Chromebook's going to shut off that
right.
day.
It'll still work. You just won't. You'll be stuck at Chrome version 77 or whatever the current version of Chrome is.
And I think the most important takeaway of that is that it just leaves you a little bit more vulnerable to security exploits and things like that. Mm-hmm. But you can still use it.
Right. Do I smell a Bite My Bits and Craft Computing collaboration? Bite My Bits may or may not make an appearance on Craft Computing live from Las Vegas. We are both going, and we will both be meeting up at some point. And I believe he may actually be on this show. So stay tuned. As well as another unnamed YouTuber. Stay tuned. Yeah, we got plans. We got plans in the works, y'all.
Making me sad.
Although I'm going to buy the beer for that show.
Good for you. They just bring in growlers filled with Bud Light.
Where can you get Bud Light in a growler?
At a regular bar? At a tavern?
It's true. Do they sell it in 64 ounce? Probably.
I mean,
probably.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
So, anyway, something to be aware of is if you're going out and buying a Chromebook, look up the model of that Chromebook. Google actually outlines every single Chrome OS device's end-of-life date. And so don't buy a device that is going to be end-of-life within 12 months. Don't waste your money. Because I know a lot of Chromebooks are going to be sold over the next 2, 3, 4 days through the holiday weekend. So just be smart with your money. Yep. And be aware of that little issue. This is really good, but it's a lot richer than I was expecting it to be.
Pretty rich.
Yeah.
Pretty rich. It's a beer that you have to nurse.
Mm-hmm. As you should with most good beers.
This is true. This is the way.
That's right.
Huh? Anybody? This is the way? Are we all up on our relevant pop culture references? We know Jeff's not. Anybody else in chat?
Is this an I have spoken thing? Or... No?
It's close. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're just not caught up.
I'm not. I've been trying to move, damn it. You should see the pile of crap that's out in my garage right now that is boxed up from this office and ready to go.
I don't want to feel bad.
Yeah. It's
I just want to judge you. Okay?
Fair enough. You know what, Rhett? Fair enough. So for those who didn't see the news this week, Intel announced and released their all-new i9-10980XE, and AMD released their 3970X, 3960X, and 3950X Threadripper and AM4 based processors, respectively. Quite amount of praise for the AMD products, not so much for the Intel, because it's basically the same chip that they released last generation and the generation before that. The 10980XE is just a rebrand, and it's hard to call it anything but that this time around, of the 9980XE, which was just a rebrand with a soldered top of a 7980XE. So it is quite clear that Intel has no more tricks up its sleeve, doesn't have any aces that are kind of jammed up there. It's got nothing that it can actually do. Sorry, Regan, why not just buy an old laptop for a kid instead? Ask me that again at the end of the show, and I'll get into a little bit better detail. Who's the guy in the sweater vest? Very manly beard.
Is that me?
I don't know.
Is this a sweater vest?
That's a fleece pullover.
This is a quarter zip, you idiot!
Uncultured swine.
I'm just kidding. You're not an idiot.
That's right.
I just like to flaunt my knowledge of clothes. Anyways.
Anyway, so the Ryzen processors were met with quite a bit of praise. The Intel processor, not so much, because it is just a rebrand. But there was another thing that really got a lot of YouTubers heated this week, and that is Intel pulling out some shenanigans with the review embargo dates. Basically, AMD announced that the review embargo would be, I believe it was November 25th at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Intel then decided a couple of weeks later that they were going to match the embargo date and say the 10980XE, you can talk about it and give your benchmarks at that same 6 a.m. time on the 25th. And a lot of YouTubers went, who cares? It's the same chip. I've reviewed this twice already. But then Intel said, you know what? If you want to talk about it, you can talk about it 6 hours early. You can talk about it at 12:01 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on November 25th. And really no one took the bait. Now, Intel's reason for this was only onefold. It was to have a review of the 10980XE, which didn't show current benchmarks for the Threadripper processors because, hey, we can't talk about them for another 6 hours. That was it. Yeah, I see you, Jason. New title, Craft Computing Live Nursing.
It's not even funny.
Yeah.
That's not even good.
That's not your best joke. That's not your best joke. Are you proud of that one? Really?
More like craft computing.
See, I promote responsible drinking on this channel.
Yeah.
Instead of just slamming a Bud Light when I get home. I don't need to drink, Jason. Anyway, so they said you could talk about the 10980XE 6 hours earlier, which means we can't talk about the Threadripper chips yet. As if that's going to matter, and as if YouTubers are too stupid to know that. If you haven't watched their videos, go watch their videos, particularly Linus's, because Linus is hot. Linus called it basically straight up effing bull. You know, he went into great detail. And I thought he was still fairly reserved with how Intel was trying to play this game. It's one thing if you have a competing product and you're trying to get an upper leg in advertising. It's another thing if you're trying to underhand the system and undermine the system. And it's just... it rubbed me the wrong way, and I didn't even get either one of the damn processors. And it rubbed me the wrong way. Because it's underhanded, it's shady, it's disingenuous to your customer. And Jay's 2 cents pointed out today, a great point, that you know what's going to be present in the 3970X and the 3960X reviews? The 1090-80XE benchmarks. Like, what did you actually buy yourself? There's going to be like 1 or 2 benchmarks that come out that only show the 1090-80XE against like a 2990WX, which, by the way, the 2990WX still beats it in a lot of benchmarks because it's got 32 core, 64 threads. But even AMD's 3950X, the consumer level 16 core chip, is straight up dogging the 1090-80XE. And I've been saying it for quite a while. If Intel had a counterpunch, they would have played it 18 months ago. I've been on record as saying that numerous times. That if Intel had anything left to give, they would have at least announced it. The fact that they keep rebranding these chips and they can't press the clocks any higher. And Linus actually said the 1090-80XE performs worse in some situations than the 9980XE because of boost performance and hardware attack mitigations for your Spectre and Meltdown issues. So, boy, it's a weird time. It is a weird time to be a reviewer. It's a weird time to be a consumer because the tide has shifted so quickly. And faster than even the most optimistic of us could have predicted it. And boy, if anyone is left out in the cold right now, it's gonna be Intel. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. You got anything?
No, not really, man.
Did I get it all?
I think you did. Point for point. Mm-hmm. Go down the bullet list. Yeah, it's I don't know. You know, I've always said it just feels like we're just seeing Intel kicking. You know, we're watching 2 people in the water. Intel's kicking. They're being torn under by the riptide.
Yeah.
And AMD is the riptide.
Taken away to the dark side of the...
Is that song?
That's Riptide.
Is that Riptide?
Yeah. When you're singing that song again.
There it is.
I got a lump in my throat because I want to get the words wrong.
The only top 40 song with a ukulele.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, maybe not the only, but... Well, not the only ever, obviously.
Well,
but...
Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's why I amended to say not the only one.
Or Meghan Trainor's self-cover of All About That Bass, only on the ukulele. That was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, didn't hear that.
She did a single cover of her own song.
Was it
with
top
a
40?
I don't know if it was top 40, but
I guess
it was pretty good.
All About That Bass was top 40.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Jeff, what do I think of pricing of the 3rd gen Threadripper? I think you're actually finally getting your money's worth if you spend $1,400 on a processor.
Finally.
It's been a long time since you could spend $1,000 and be justified in that price point. Thank you, Intel. Yeah, it is... Once you cross that high-end desktop platform threshold and you commit to spending $700 on a CPU, it's been a very high cost for a lot less return. Mm-hmm. Threadripper kind of changed that in they released a 16-core processor for less than $1,000. Now, while it might not have beaten Intel's 18-core processor, the 7980XE at the time, it was at least competitive in a lot of benchmarks, and it cost $800 less.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Cost counts for so much more in the consumer market than anything else. Right.
On the workstation side of things, on a lot of different things. Yeah, it's... And now they're singing? What? Come on, Becky. You've seen my office before. You've seen the guitar singing on the wall. All of us except Steve, I think, are musicians here. And even Steve does a decent karaoke.
So there you go.
Come on.
As all human beings are really musicians. Okay,
Yeah.
we play to the internal rhythm of our beating heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't have anything poetical.
Where were you going there?
I was gonna try and wax poetic.
Where were you going there?
I don't know.
Your friend looks disappointed in you. Big Guy 70 points this out perfectly. AMD innovation is kicking Intel's ass. I bought a 3900X AMD CPU for the first time in 30 years of building PCs last month. And yes, AMD, for the first time in a long time, and possibly for the first time in their history, is beating Intel across the board in every SKU. And it's not even close. There's a little bit of like Intel win at the low end Xeon kind of thing, where I need ECC memory and a lot of memory support. But I don't have the $700 to drop on an AMD EPYC Rome CPU. I can get an Intel equivalent for like $450. But it's got less cores and less speed, but it's all about the platform rather than the raw performance. That's about it. Like the Xeon Silvers, like that's about the only thing that Intel has that AMD doesn't. Think about AMD's Rome at the very top at 64 cores, 128 threads, and 128 PCIe lanes of PCIe 4. You want to talk about dominance? That's dominance. You go down to the 32 cores Rome, to the 32 core Threadripper that just came out, that is kicking Intel's butt and taking its lunch money. For, by the way, the same price that the 9980XE was selling for not long ago, at 18 cores and 36 threads. And Jay pointed out a great thing today as well, that Intel's been sacking you for quite a long time. Intel has been taking advantage of their market position. They didn't just all of a sudden, out of the goodness of their heart, decide to drop the price of the 10980XE by half. They've been fleecing you. They've been fleecing you across the board. And they still have room on their consumer chips. There's still room to drop. And they don't, because they're still selling. But that tide is going to shift very, very quickly. So it's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be a very, very interesting time. Jeff is going to be a musician later because he's lactose intolerant. I'm going to play a little baritone later. I'm not going to lie.
A little baritone.
Little baritone. Little trombone solo.
Nighthawk. Play Nighthawk. Huh? Anybody?
I'm more of a Pink Panther. That's right. That's right.
What? Don't do that. Oh no. Super chat.
Yep. All right.
Anyways, so there you go. Some AMD and Intel news.
So yeah, Intel, stop trying to game the system, because the system knows better than you do even. And it's just ridiculous at this point. You're embarrassing yourself. Stop it.
Yeah.
Speaking of embarrassing yourself, why not do a spec bump like 4 months after a release? RTX 2080 Ti Super, because we need a super version of the Ti card. Supposedly. At least NVIDIA says we do. So it will have more CUDA cores and 16 gigabit per second GDDR5 bandwidth. 4608 CUDA cores versus the... Gosh, I don't even remember. The 4200 CUDA cores that are in the standard. So yeah, it's going to be faster. It's going to be a marginal spec bump. You'll get right around 10% more performance out of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of nursing, I'm actually ahead of Rhett right now.
Yeah, I think you're going to break ahead of me for the rest of the night, unfortunately. Dude, that first one kicked me right in the face.
That was a good beer, although the hiccups are kind of like in the background.
Yeah, I don't get any hiccups because I'm a tough guy.
Right. Yep. Some days I get them, some days I don't.
You always get them when I'm here.
I always get them when you're here. I don't know why.
Says something about our relationship.
That's right. Well, I always get them when John and Steve are here too, so I don't think it says that much about the relationship.
How dare you go behind my back? I thought what we had was special.
I've been hiccuping with other guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, so yeah, apparently we need a new 2080 Ti. And it's going to be 5 to 10% faster. It's going to be about the same price. Everyone's going to be pissed off that they bought a 2080 Ti, even though you're the 1% of the 1%. It just is what it is. I don't know why NVIDIA feels the need to do this, because unless they think AMD's coming out with a counterpunch to go, AMD is going to release a 5500 and then like a 5900 RX card that'll compete with the 2080. Why even bother? I don't know. I do not know. That fan sounds like it's hauling ass. That's actually my wife with a mixer making pie in the kitchen right next door.
Thanksgiving comes first, folks.
That's right. She goes, ooh, you have a show tonight? Crap, I forgot it was Wednesday. I'm going to start the mixer. Is that going to bug you? I said, yeah, but I don't care because you're making pie.
Pie trumps all, son.
Pie trumps all. So you guys can grit and bear it. I get to have pie.
There you go.
That's what that's about.
There you go.
Yeah. It was my laptop that was sounding like it was going to be in takeoff mode for a little while, but I think we got that resolved a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's a great big mixer. KitchenAid mixer she's got. Is that a Raspberry Pi? Where? No. I have a bunch of pies in here, but no. Nothing here. Just making sure the computer is not losing its mind. Nope, never. It's mine. Although my Dell 6 Gamers 1 CPU system sounds a lot like that right now. Yep.
Does a pie even make sound?
No, it's fanless. Unless you have a Pi 4, in which some of them require fans, some of them don't. Although a new firmware version makes it possible to overclock without having a fan.
The pie she's making.
Right.
Raspberry Pi. That's pretty good. That was a good one. You got me, dude.
Yeah.
Straight up, dude.
You straight up whooshed me.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah. Is it a Raspberry Pi? I get you now. I get you now.
I feel pretty stupid, actually.
I do. I should have gotten
pretty guilty about that.
Yeah. I would have spelled it PIE. Just
yeah.
And I might have gotten the joke that is it a Raspberry Pi? No, it's a cherry. Oh, I get you. But no, you spelled it pie, and so I started looking.
Literally looked around for Raspberry Pis. I asked the question: does a Raspberry Pi even make sounds?
No, it doesn't. So all of a sudden we got into Raspberry Pi 4 cooling. Oh, the conversations that breed here.
Could you imagine us going?
That's the fan on my Raspberry Pi.
Anyway,
that's right. That's right. Whew. Zoomers don't know what pie is. Okay.
I like pie.
The D. I like pie. I like pie too.
I like pie. It's like Dean Winchester.
Yeah.
He likes pie.
Yeah. Okay. You know who thought we could use a 2080 Super? 2080 Ti Super. An ingenious set of Brazilian overclockers. So they actually transplanted the 2080 Ti GDDR6 memory that is standard clocked at 14,000 megahertz with a set that is effectively clocked at 15,496 megahertz for a 10.7% increase. Awfully close to that 16 gigabit per second mark that NVIDIA is touting. Now, this doesn't involve an increase in CUDA cores because, well, that's really difficult to do. But they did manage to get a hold of some new memory and actually SMD solder it direct onto the board and boot it up and got a pretty sizable increase in performance. I certainly don't recommend this method, although I have thought about doing board level soldering for a couple of different cards. I actually had a video that I was interested in doing with a GTX 760 in which I was going to take a 2 gigabyte card and turn it into a 4 gigabyte card. Actually, the card that I ended up giving you, the card that's in your rig right now.
Heck yeah.
The GTX 760. I was actually researching some GDDR5 modules that I could buy and replace that were faster and had more memory on them. And I thought that would be an interesting video on actually like reflowing a card with better memory modules on it.
That would have been dope.
I never did it because it was a little bit expensive at the time. I still needed the GTX 760 at the time, and I didn't want to risk damaging the card. And quite honestly, it's a fairly difficult process without a proper reflow station, because for the 4 gigabytes of memory, I think there are 16 modules per card. Oof. And you have to ball solder all of them perfectly. Oof. Perfectly. And so I thought about it, but I thought better of it. And I don't like ending my crazy project videos with, well, that didn't work. I don't like that as an ending for a video. It doesn't tell a very good story. It tells a story of me beating my head against a wall and going, well, don't do that at home, folks. And I don't like that as an ending. I like the crazy things to work. So oftentimes if I approach you with a crazy concept, I've already got it working in Potentia, and I want to see it come to fruition or to like a bigger, bigger scale. Kind of like my vGPU system that I'm building. But yeah, hats off to the Brazilian hackers for actually modifying all of those cards, or that card, to have an increase in GDDR6 memory.
Pretty legit.
Couple of quick stories here. Facebook has bought out Beat Games, which is known for one game and one game alone, that being Beat Saber. So, if you're a fan of Beat Saber, Facebook and Oculus now own Beat Saber. These kinds of moves always never make sense in my brain. And I'll tell you why. Microsoft buying Mojang to own the rights to Minecraft. Beat Saber. Trying to go down the list of like the one-hit wonder studios that were picked up by someone. Because there's a lot. There's a lot. Those are the two big ones that come up in my head.
Yeah.
But just think of those two acquisitions. Microsoft spent $2.1 billion on Mojang for Minecraft, which is an application enjoyed by a lot of kids. A lot of kids they can't market or advertise to legally. And most of the money had already been had because they'd already sold the game licenses. And they were giving away Minecraft, the Bedrock version, for free on the Windows 10 store. So it's not like it was making them money there. And it's not like they were selling Windows 10 at a huge premium because they were giving it away with Windows 7. So you got a free version of Minecraft with every purchase or upgrade of Windows 10. Oftentimes it applied to machines it never should have applied to. So where's the money at? Where's the money coming from in that transaction? Like, I know Microsoft spent $2.1 billion, and I believe, what's his name got like $1.5 billion of that. Notch did.
Notch? Mr. Douche Notch?
Yeah, Mr. Douche Notch. But Microsoft, where are you going to recoup that? Where are you going to make $2.1 billion? And actually, by the time you're done with it, $2.7 billion, because you have to account for inflation and cost sank. Where are you going to make up the money at? I don't see it.
Yeah. Was it just a bad deal?
Any economists in the audience want to kind of chime me in there? Because this is a single product. This is a single product that Microsoft valued at $2.1 billion.
Well, I will say one thing I see a lot more of nowadays is also like Minecraft merch.
And I'm sure there's a lot of merch. I mean, Star Wars makes them a good chunk of its money off merchandise.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the original merchandiser.
Yeah.
Merchandising.
Yeah.
Where the real money from the movie is made.
From merchandising.
Spaceballs the coloring book. Spaceballs the lunchbox. Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids just love this one.
I love this channel, but not the rules. He literally was just pounding send for that freaking band to end. We love you too, buddy.
I love you too, but
I just didn't want to have my beard petted.
you're sending some weird super chats, and I'm concerned. Just letting you know.
Yeah. We were honestly saving you money. So don't feel too bad. Yeah, data mining from Windows 10 will cover the lost money. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I see Minecraft.
2.1 billion? Is Bing that big?
No.
Right?
I see Minecraft more and more as time goes on. Like one thing I see, like I got some nephews that are like coming in like 8, 9, 10 years old, and they know everything there is to know about Minecraft. All the YouTube videos they watch are like Minecraft content, or like like they were watching music videos made with Minecraft stuff. So it's like, I don't know, it's everywhere you look. And again, I don't know how or where they're making money on that, but like it's kind of a big IP in a way. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's the long game, Like Disney buying Marvel, they're just they're biding their time to pull the trigger on some big films. Who knows when that'll happen? Because I don't think Marvel's really put anything out.
Is that beer still cold? Marginally. Not all beer should be drank at 34 degrees. Did you know that? We intentionally went darker in the beers. Actually, this one should probably be warmed or cooled down a little bit from where it's at right now. But actually, most beer recommends being served at 40 degrees, so you get more flavor out of it. Some heavy stouts will actually recommend upwards of 55 and 60 degrees, so literally room temperature.
Yeah.
So no, it's not cold anymore. This beer doesn't need to be. And it's still good.
It is.
Can't say that about a 50-degree Bud Light, can you?
No, 50-degree Bud Light tastes like piss.
Yes.
But an ice cold, nearly frozen Bud Light...
Because unfortunately, you taste everything inside of it.
Too true.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't... Who knows if this will pay off? I don't understand what it's about, but...
Yeah.
It's not like Facebook is a games company, so do you expect them to make good games-related business decisions?
I don't. But moving back to Beat Saber, the money has already been spent. Are you going to come out with a Beat Saber 2 that's radically different from the first? No. Are you going to make as much money with a Beat Saber 2? Probably not. Maybe.
They're going to cancel all the licenses for Beat Saber 1 and force you to upgrade to Beat Saber 2.
And that could very well be. But Beat Saber 1 has an open homebrew community, which can create new songs, and you can download tracks and all that kind of thing. And that's where a lot of the appeal in Beat Saber 1 is.
The Candy Crush one is one I was thinking of too. But
yeah, Candy Crush, another one for King.
I didn't know Blizzard bought that, though.
Yeah, Blizzard bought King. Basically for Candy Crush. Now, King had a bunch of different games, but Candy Crush is the king.
And Candy Crush was a rip-off.
Of Bedazzled.
Basically. Bedazzled and other games like that.
Yep.
So.
Craft Computing, what is your P.O. Box? Check the video description. Although that P.O. Box will only be active for another about 20 days. So if you're sending me something now, send it now. They will hold my mail for another 30 days after that, but I prefer not to drive back to that location because it's about 20 miles away from my new house and not exactly convenient.
And not on the way home like it currently is.
Right. I will be getting a new P.O. box probably late next week, early the week after. Is it possible to send you some man's beer? Boy, I'm really curious about what your definition of man's beer is now. So, yes, you may send me some beer. And yes, we will open it on this show. So, there you go.
Is it possible to send you a man's beer? Whose beer?
Whose beer?
We'll find out.
Which man did you take it from? What man let his beer be taken? That's what I want to know.
Not me. Yep. But you know what they say, any beer worth drinking is a beer worth spilling.
Mm-hmm. Who says that?
Me and my friends.
Yeah.
You said it once.
Did I? I don't remember saying that.
Yeah. Does it make it more valid knowing that you said it?
Probably. I am an influencer, after all.
There you go. You said it, Jeff. You're a genius.
Okay.
Any beer worth spilling is a beer worth drinking.
All right. Well, apparently that's gospel now.
He's like a made-up beer proverb mogul.
I'm like a drunk savant.
Maybe it's the other way around. Any beer worth drinking is a beer worth spilling.
Boy, I wouldn't want to spill a beer that's worth drinking, though.
But you're having such a good time. You're like, yeah, and you're like, whoops, you accidentally spill some.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I disagree.
It's going to catch on.
I disagree.
It's going to catch on.
Yep. But yeah, I just don't see where the value proposition is in buying Beat Saber just for Beat Saber, or buying Mojang just for Minecraft. Can I pet your beard? No. That would be weird. I will not send you Bud Light or Bud Light Orange. Can I also say no Bud Light Lime or Limerita?
Well, final news story of the night.
Final news story of the night. Red Dead Redemption has a Steam release.
Some games news that does make sense.
That's right. We're actually behind this one.
So, it has a release date on Steam.
Yep. December 5th, next week.
Perfect.
Yep.
Because I don't know if you guys have seen all the screenshots of all the fun mods that have come out since the PC port, but PC players are having a grand old time playing some Red Dead Redemption 2, and if you'd like to buy it on the Steam distribution platform, you can do so next week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to buy it on Steam, but you can if you'd like to.
I'm going to buy it on Steam.
Yeah?
And it's, I've said this before, it's not a knock on Epic games. I don't have the vitriol that a lot of people do.
No.
I understand what Epic is trying to do from a business standpoint. I disagree with the way they're going about it, but it does make smart business sense. You're not really endearing yourself to gamers, but at the same time, you're still making money, so who the hell cares?
Yeah.
Kind of like EA. Make a better FIFA game. Stop buying the FIFA game and they'll make a better FIFA game, for God's sakes.
This is true.
Like, you're the one doing this to yourself. FIFA's the number one game on EA, yet it's the most complained about game on EA. Stop buying the damn thing and they'll make it better.
Yeah.
Like, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Same thing with Epic Games. For all the people that said, oh, I'll never buy an Epic game.
You don't have to buy an Epic
Borderlands 3? Put your money where your mouth is. Either make it a protest or don't. And if it's not, shut up and just spend the money. I didn't buy Red Dead on Epic, not out of any kind of protest, but simply because I don't own any other games on Epic. And I didn't want to start yet another account.
Yeah.
I have a U-Store account, I have an Origin account, I have a Good Old Games account, I have a Steam account. I have 540 games on Steam. I have 0 games on Epic. If I know it's coming to Steam in a month, guess what? I'll just frickin' wait a month.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. I was looking at buying Disco Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't on Steam,
mm-hmm.
but it was on Epic. I think it was on Epic, and it was on Good Old Games. And I was like...
Well, that's a no-brainer.
Well, it wasn't at first. Because I was like, oh, what the hell am I going to do? Because when I was thinking about buying it on GOG, you know, it was like, oh, you need the GOG Galaxy launcher. I was like, not another launcher! Because all the games I've ever bought are not on the launcher.
Yeah, you have to go down below and say, download installer.
Well, I ended up getting the launcher anyways, so who cares? Disco Elysium's great. Oh, that was the other thing I was thinking about buying on Epic was Outer Worlds, which I ended up just getting on the Microsoft Store because of Xbox Games Pass, because I got a whole month for $1.
Yep.
So that was cool. That was a good deal. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2, if you all haven't played it, it is absolutely worth every penny. And if you are not willing to buy it on Epic, this is your chance. December 5th. Buy it and let us know what you think.
Yep. Absolutely. I know I will be buying it, partially because it's going to be a pretty good benchmarking title. I've seen the numbers from it from the Epic Games, and yeah.
And it's awesome.
And it's awesome. And it's just a great game. And I think that's going to do it for our standard show. We started 20 minutes late. We're still finishing 20 minutes early, so we have a lot of time for some Q&A. So if you have any questions at all, drop them in the chat now. I have both the Discord and the YouTube chats up and going. And in fact, I can even display the chats over here in the window. So the chat is now live. And what do you guys want to talk about? We'll start with Alpha Hero because he asked a question, jumping the gun slightly, but it's a good question. What's your opinion on a decent sort of budget AMD processor? Ryzen 3600, you can get it for less than $200, 6 cores, 12 threads, beats out an 8700K. And you can run it on a B350 motherboard or B450 motherboard. You can pick those up for like $80. Heck of a good system.
There you go.
2700 is also on sale on Newegg for $160. That's also a great processor. 8 cores, 16 threads, although about 15% slower in IPC. So if you're buying a simply for gaming, I would put the 3600 as like the be-all end-all gaming CPU. However, you can get a Ryzen 2600 for like $130 or $120 on Newegg right now. And that's a great CPU as well. And that'll run on an $80 motherboard or $60 motherboard. So a lot of good options. Avoid the first gen if you can, because the second gen is that much better, and the third gen is even that much better than that. But that being said, if you see a 1700X on a good clearance sale for like $100 or $120, great CPU, pick it up. Basically anything under 150 that AMD makes is pretty solid right now. But if you're looking to do brand new, most recent hardware, most recent revision, 3600, $200, great CPU. How's the house going? I talked about this. Oh, I actually didn't talk about this because we weren't live yet. Yeah. So the house, we should have closed this previous Monday on November 25th. We had one single thing hold us up, and that was actually the appraisal. Not that the appraisal came back bad, but that the appraiser never did the appraisal and then left on vacation and then cost me $1,000 and then just freaking left and said he wasn't going to do it. So we were ready to close like last Wednesday. I got the underwriter and closing disclosures last Wednesday. Underwriter, yeah. All that needed done was the appraisal to be added to the packet to know that the loan was going to be worth what they were giving me, and us to sign. And that couldn't be done because we didn't have the appraisal done. So we had to spend the last 5 days finding a new appraiser to come out and do a rush job on the appraisal, get it in before the Thanksgiving weekend. We finally found someone to come out and do it yesterday. He submitted the report at 5 o'clock this afternoon. But unfortunately, their host office is in another time zone, and so there's no one there to actually process the report and send it to our underwriter. So now we have to hope that the appraisal company is open on Friday or Saturday. Yeah. So who knows if that'll be the case. So they can get to our underwriter and the title company. We have an appointment 8:30 Monday morning to go in and sign paperwork. If the appraisal isn't there yet, though, or if the appraisal comes in Monday morning, we won't be able to sign until the next calendar day because they need a day to process it. So most likely we will be signing the paperwork on Tuesday, and we will have keys. We are working on an agreement to have a rent-back agreement so we can actually get into the house and start doing some work on it. I have a painter coming out on Friday to actually start painting the house, the inside of the house. And next Saturday, I am building my studio. So that is the plan as it sits. Jeff, are you planning to do a Threadripper build? Maybe. I invested in the X399 platform out of my own money. I'm a little disappointed that third gen doesn't work on previous generation motherboards. I understand the reasons why. But I got it at a good deal, but I already have what equates to about a $500 motherboard and a $500 processor. and not being able to upgrade past the second generation Threadripper kind of, it puts a damper on the whole thing. That, and you start at 24 cores, 48 threads at $1,400. It's a hefty price point. For half the money, I can get a 16-core 32-thread and have almost the same amount of bandwidth as far as memory and PCIe lanes go. So actually, I'm leaning more towards a 3950X, maybe even a 3900X, quite honestly, because there's not really any IPC gains to be had by going from the standard desktop up to a Threadripper, up to a high-end desktop. And my workload is really video editing, gaming, and then rendering. And the rendering, I don't care how long it takes. Right now I render on an 8-core. I've been rendering on an 8-core since December of 2017 when I built my original Threadripper system. Before that, I rendered on a 12-core Intel system, which took about the same amount of time because IPC performance was about the same. 12-core was about equal to my 8-core performance. So, once I hit render, I can go to bed and I can wake up the next morning and I can upload it to YouTube. That's my workload, or my workflow. So, yeah. Who knows? I don't know that I'm going to go out and spend money on one. If someone sends me one, I'll certainly build something. As far as a personal build, I'm looking probably more like a 3900X. How do I feel about third gen Threadripper? I said this earlier. I think you're finally getting more than $1,000 worth out of a CPU. I don't think that's been the case for many, many years. The value proposition has never been a return on the high-end desktop. It's always been, I just need more, and I'm willing to pay a premium for it. Now you're getting close to what you should be getting in return. However, even looking at the 3950X on the AM4 platform at a $750 price point, jumping up 50% in core count costs you double the price, jumping up to $1,400. Plus, you have more expensive motherboards. You have quad channel memory instead of dual channel. There's a lot more expense with the higher platform still. However, this is probably the most worth it that it's been in quite some time. Let's see. You see one you want to answer?
They're all for you.
All for me? Okay. We'll just keep going. Reminder on Regan's question about why not to get an old laptop for kids. You can certainly get an old laptop for kids. You can get on eBay right now and you can find dozens of laptops for less than $100. And you have to know how to work on machines. And if you know how to work on machines, then you're probably pretty good. Throw an SSD in a 5-year-old laptop and it's 3 times as fast as a Chromebook.
Yeah.
And you can get some pretty decent performance out of it. The downside with a laptop is you deal with a lot of things that are Windows inherent or Linux inherent, depending on your operating system. But at the same time, you have a lot more flexibility on it. I would not, however, spend the same amount brand new retail on a Windows laptop than I would on a Chromebook. Reason being is at a $140 price point, you get a 16 gig eMMC SSD, which has very limited write speeds. It's basically an SD card that's soldered onto a motherboard.
Yeah.
And Windows takes up probably 10 to 12 gigs of that. And Windows is a lot more resource heavy than Chrome OS is, which is why Chrome OS does so well at the $140 price point, and Windows never will. So, buying a Windows laptop at the $140 or even $200 price point is always a losing proposition. It's going to suck. It's just flat out going to suck because they're going to cut every corner they possibly can.
When you're buying new.
If you're buying used, there is some value out there to be had. Heck, this Dell with a Ryzen 2500U quad core and Vega 8 graphics can probably be had for about $350 right now, if you do some shopping. So there is value out there. You just have to look for it a little bit closer. Let's see. Someone had a good question. What keyboard and switches are you using? Yes. I hate linear switches. I hate reds and I hate silvers, although silver's less than reds. I hate reds with a fiery passion because I just hate the way they feel. But that's purely subjective. I don't like reds. You have a red keyboard. You like your red keyboard.
Yeah.
So
it took a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah. I use on this machine here. This is a Velocifier. I forget the brand or the model number even. TKL78. It's a 10 keyless 78 key keyboard. Has just a single color backlight, a little bit of an aluminum backer there. Great keyboard. Has Velocifier's homegrown brown switches, and they feel great. And it's about a $35 keyboard, and it's fantastic. Behind me, my main daily driver was a Gamdius Hermes P2, I believe is the model of it. Pretty sure here. Yep, Gamdius Hermes P2. It is an optical blue switch of Hermes' own or of Gamdius' own design, and it is freaking incredible and costs only about $85. And in fact, I've seen it for as low as $70. I did a review on this keyboard quite some time ago. I said then it was my daily driver. It remains my daily driver almost 18 months later. For the money, it is really, really, really hard to beat. At work, I have a Corsair K70. And that has been fantastic. It has been a workhorse, although between the 4 or 5 K70s that I've seen go through, only like one is still living today. So like long term, I believe they may have a little bit of a problem either with the LEDs or with some key feedback. Now, to be fair, 2 of those, I know one of them was soaked in a stout and one of them was soaked in rum and coke. So... But yeah, of like the 5 or 6 keyboards and people that I've known who have used those keyboards, there's only a couple that are left alive today. So take that with a major grain of salt. But yeah, Gamdius Hermes P2 is my preferred daily driver with an optical blue switch, and it is flipping fantastic. What's your favorite puzzle game on Steam? Gunpoint is my favorite puzzle game on Steam.
Never played Gunpoint. My go-to for a long time was Cogs on Steam.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, Gunpoint. Go pick it up. It's like $10. It's great. It's a platformer kind of game. Very, very strategy-based. Kind of roguelike.
Yeah.
In some of its aspects.
Looks pretty cool.
Heck of a lot of fun. Great graphics and Steam Workstation integration, so you can build custom levels and download custom levels.
That's always really fun. Only ketchup.
Becky, that literally happened to me one time at a Burger King. They didn't put meat on my burger. I had 2 buns, cheese, and a little sauce. Yeah. Any tattoos? That's a good one. Do you have any tattoos?
Nope.
I do not have any tattoos, but I do have a couple planned. I planned on literally getting serial numbered. And I know that sounds weird.
The government loves you.
Right. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get like an old school terminal font, and I'm going to do the ASCII characters, so the 8-bit ASCII for the first letters of my daughter's names.
Aww.
So I'm going to have their first initial basically tattooed on my shoulder in a very geeky way.
That's really sweet.
Just on the back shoulder, but it's going to look like I'm serial numbered essentially. But I think it would be a really cool tattoo. I think it fits me perfectly, and it gives a little bit of a tribute to them and the loves of my life. So
I always wanted tattoos, but I was kind of held off because growing up, this is so dumb, but growing up, I was always interested in, this idea of maybe joining the FBI one day, right? Who doesn't dream of being like the X-Files?
Uh-huh.
And
the truth is out there,
and it is out there. And I remember reading once that they have like a very strict like no tattoo policy, as like a lot of places do.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I'll hang off.
The teardrop on the eye makes her a poor agent.
Yeah, exactly. However, apparently they did away with that in like 1998 or something like that. So like, I've been in the clear for a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but just never.
The policy that always irritated me was twofold. One, when I was growing up, my ultimate goal, I wanted to be a fighter jet pilot. I wanted to join the Air Force. I wanted to train to be a pilot. That just lit up all the parts of my brain that needed to be lit up. And I wanted to pursue that. However, I am over 6 foot tall and I am red-green colorblind. That was a double whammy for being an Air Force pilot.
And maybe I'm wrong, but you don't have 20/20 vision.
I do not.
Taking a shot in the dark there, but...
Let's see if I can read the chat now.
Oh, no.
It's not good. It's not good anymore. So I have naturally not very good vision. It was exacerbated by actually a virus I contracted in my eyes at age 16. I woke up one morning and my vision was a little bit fuzzy. And I've had glasses since I was about 11 or 12 years old. And it was basically just for like reading, just for like, oh, it's a little bit hard to see. Oh, look, I can see it now. And I woke up one morning and I noticed my vision is really fuzzy. And it wasn't like unheard of for my vision to be fuzzy. I'm tired, I'm waking up and whatnot. And I can't quite see and whatnot. And I go to school and I realize as I'm riding my bike to school, it's not getting better. And in fact, it's getting a little bit worse. And I had a 0-period chemistry class, which, by the way, who in God's name invented that class? 0-period chemistry, 7:15 in the morning. I'm doing chemistry in high school. I sit down and I'm asked to read out of the book, and I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm looking at the book and I literally can't see any shapes recognizing any that look like letters. And I'm like, hold on a second. I tell the teacher, and I dig my glasses out of my backpack and I put the glasses on. I'm like, I still can't see. Like I have nothing. And he goes, do you need to go to the nurse? And I said, I think I might. And so I actually had to have someone help me walk to the nurse's station. I ended up getting my dad to come pick me up. They trucked me off to my normal physician, who tested me and poking, prodding in my eyes and whatnot, and having me read charts. And I think I tested out a 20/80 vision in that office.
Wow.
Like like the really big E, the one that everyone goes, it's one that. Nope, nothing. They then wheeled me off to a specialist, and I say wheeled me off because I couldn't walk, so they put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me off because I was legally blind at this point. And wheeled me off to a specialist who checked me out again and said, we need to get you into an optometrist like today. And so they got me to an optometrist and they put me in this black room and hooked me up to all these machines. And basically I had contracted the streptococci, the
oh geez,
the strep throat virus
but
in my eyes and whatnot. And so they had steroid injections in my eyes, which is one of the most unpleasant things I've ever done in my life. And it actually permanently damaged some of the muscles and neurons and whatnot in my eyes. And so my eyes are very, very slow to be able to lock focus anymore. They don't adjust to light changes very well anymore. Like they'll adjust, but they're really, really slow at it. And like right now, I'm having a hard time. Like sometimes I can not wear glasses and I'm fine because I can kind of like adjust. But right now I can read the top lines. I can't read any of the bottom lines on the screen.
That gives me a headache just thinking about for some reason.
So yeah, I had a virus that permanently damaged my eyes. So I will be wearing glasses for the rest of my life.
Everything. I can read the tiny little print on your camera, your monitor screen.
Yeah.
I can read all the chat just fine.
I can read the chat with my glasses.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have glasses on.
Yeah. Yep.
But see, it makes me feel selfish that I didn't become...
Note to self, Jeff is easily bamboozled by flashing lights. Actually, kind of. Yeah.
Just kick him in the nuts.
Built-in neuralizer is what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just look at the bright light, my friends, and all your troubles will go away.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I guess I should be a fighter pilot to make up for my awesome vision.
Yeah.
And not squander my gifts.
Yeah, totally.
But, yeah.
Must have been a Streptococcus aureus virus. It's on your skin. And yeah, I don't remember what it was, but I remember they said it's basically the strep throat virus that's in your eyes. So it's a Streptococci variant. They said it likely permanently damaged your eyes and And
some will say that it made you streptococcide.
a little bit. Little bit.
Nailed it.
Nicely done.
Nailed it.
So yeah, I love the comments in the YouTube videos that I got that said, "You wear glasses. Why don't you just get laser surgery?" Because it's not an option, because that's not the problem. Thank you, though. Thank you for telling me I look ugly with the glasses. That's just a real confidence boost getting onto YouTube.
You don't look ugly.
I like my glasses. I really do.
Yeah.
I've been wearing glasses since I was 12 years old. It's well over the majority of my lifetime. So. Oh, you got an LMAO. There you go. You feel better now? And actually right now I can still read the chat up here. So my eyes are kind of like locked into that level focus right now. What? And sometimes they're locked in here and I can't see 3 feet in front of my face. So yeah, without my glasses right now, I can kind of read the top line and the bottom line. I can tell their words.
Sure. Me too.
But yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll never
So yeah, if you wanted to know
squander
why I
my
wear
glasses.
glasses, that's why I wear glasses.
And you wear them well, friend.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Also, I'm blue-eyed and already had a hard time with light. Now I have an even more difficult time with light. So I always wear transition lenses and transition extra active, which is the ones that go super dark.
Yeah.
Because if I walk out in the daylight, I'm literally blind.
You can see him. You can see him in a bunch of the last year's CES videos.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Any of the outdoor stuff, they're always. Jeff, do you wear contacts? I actually don't wear contacts, and part of it is because I like the transitions glasses because I have a hard time adjusting to light and dark changes anyway. And so I like having that option. I know some contacts do that, but I just kind of have this aversion to contacts. I don't like things in my eyes. I don't like pressure in my eyes. And I have migraines as a normal occurrence, and that tends to mess with your eyes even further. Mm-hmm. So honestly, glasses are the easy solution. They don't hurt me. They don't...
Yeah. Easy to take out.
I've got 5 or 6 different pairs of glasses, all with my current prescription in them that I swap in and out. These ones are actually the lighter weight glasses that I have. They don't weigh anything.
Oh,
They're crazy.
They don't.
Right.
I would never do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had to qualify that by saying that I would never do that, but I would never do that.
Well, you took my glasses. It's not like I can run and catch you.
That's true.
And
You're
Regan,
find them now.
Right. And Regan did ask a question over in the Discord, and then he super chatted it just in case I didn't see it. So $5, Regan. Thank you, buddy. I'm currently in the market for a new ATX case. I really like having front glass and RGB. Any recommendations? Full-size ATX with front glass and RGB. What was the last one that I did? Obviously, you could do something like the Fractal Vector RS. It kind of got a bum rap, I feel, in a lot of the reviews. I really like the Vector RS. It's identical inside to a Fractal Design R6. And a lot of people didn't like that because they felt like they were reviewing the same case 5 or 6 times in a row. For someone who was really a big fan of the R6, to see it get just an external facelift and keep the same internals that were, I'll be quite honest, nearly perfect. I have no problem with a company knowing where its groove is at and hanging in that groove and doing minor cosmetic tweaks to make a case better. Because the big knock on the R6 was, well, it looks really plain, or what the hell's with this front door on this, or, why do you have the carpeted interior and only one tempered glass panel? Like, there were a lot of knocks on the R6 from an aesthetic standpoint. They fix the aesthetics and then they get a lot of knocks because it's just an R6 with better aesthetics.
Yeah.
What do you want? Under $100. Okay, that's a better.
Dang, he had a super chat with that one too.
That's right. They didn't put that in the original.
I know, but he tried, and then he had to super chat it.
I have no idea where to start looking besides Gamers Nexus, and I don't want Steve in my dreams. I'm going to tell him you said that. I'm going to tell him that when I see him. Under $100. Deep Cool has made quite a few really good cases as of late. Gosh, what was the... Well, it's going to drive me nuts. I know the... Matrix?
He says after a $7, he's down to $93 case.
Right. There's the Matrix 55. I think I did a build in that one. I'm trying to remember if I did. Let me see if I did a build in that one.
It looks like one that you did.
I think I did. Deep Cool Matrix 55. I think it was only like $50. It wasn't an expensive case.
I mean, that Google link you just had a link for.
Here's
like
a perfect
$40.
example of why the new beta studio sucks. Is in the old video manager, I could search for terms that I put in the video description and it would come up with anything that matched. The new one literally only searches the title. So unless I say, I built this computer with a Matrix 55, it doesn't freaking show up and I have to go to the Creator Classic Studio to search for context. Fix it! This shouldn't be this hard, YouTube.
They got a deal for $50.
My Dual X79 was done in the Matrix 55. There you go.
Boom.
Matrix 55, yeah. I knew I recognized the case, and I knew it is a good case. It's got the tempered glass on front, tempered glass on the side, 3 RGB fans. I believe they're included in the box in the front. It's got 3 fans along the top, 1 on the back. It's got a PSU shroud with a little cutout so you can see the PSU bling on the inside of it. It is nice and deep. I put an EATX motherboard and a 1080 Ti RS card in it. Like, it has all the room in the world. Matrix 55. Go check out my my Dual X79 build. Either one of those videos has Amazon affiliate links to the Matrix 55. And it was able to cool that system just fine at like 200 watt or 400 watts of CPU power. So
Sweet.
Jeff Rant counter 3.
All on YouTube.
Yeah, with RGB fans is $70, and that's what I thought. Yeah, the base model is I think $40 or $50, but even $40 or $50 if you've already got fans, freaking good deal. If you want the RGB fans, the RGB fans that came with it are pretty solid as well. Maybe that new Leon Lee killer case. I've seen that one. I haven't tested it myself. It does look really good, and I never knock Leon Lee for construction quality. You have to disconnect and remove the front I/O to access the front panel, at least on the V1. I don't remember having to do that. And I did a release video of it. Like, they sent that to me brand new. So, I don't know. All right. It is 10:10. Last call for comments. Is there anything that came up this week we didn't get to you want to talk about?
Is there?
Is there? I don't know.
God, I don't know, man.
This
I
is
feel
the
like
time.
my head has been in the sand all week. Just came up just to breathe and drink beer.
And drink beer we did.
That we did.
Didn't even get to the Abbey.
No, that's all right, though. Next time.
Yeah.
I'll be back on in 2 weeks.
That's right. Any plans to review Inwin's Alice case? I don't remember seeing... Oh, that's that. Yeah.
Oh, that looks cool.
Maybe.
Inwin's always making interesting cases.
They're always off the beaten path with things. I remember seeing this one when it came out. And I was intrigued because it's like if IKEA designed a PC case.
Kind of, yeah.
Like, seriously, this is out of IKEA's playbook.
In fact, there's an IKEA room
Right? Yeah, that's all IKEA furniture in that room. Yeah, excuse me. I do remember this when it came out. I did not get sampled for it, but I also didn't really request it. It's an odd case. It's a very odd case. It's a bottom to top style build with your I/O coming out the top, and really meant to go in like a home theater room that you've built out of IKEA furniture. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
It looks neat.
I don't know much more of a review that you would get out of it besides...
I kind of like having the I/O on top, though.
I don't know what I would do for a review besides, yeah, you can fit this hardware into it, because it's literally an open-air chassis.
Well, they got, like, side cases and stuff.
It's fabric.
Oh.
It's fabric wrapped.
Oh.
It's an open-air chassis with a built-in filter.
Oh.
And so I don't know what review I would do on this case. I think that's why I initially turned it down. Yeah, it'll hold the system. What more do you want? It's kind of one of those.
Really, it'll take up a whole section of your living room.
What kinds of hobbyist things would be good to get into? I feel like I have so much unused computer horsepower, not mining or folding. If you're the creative type, get into like some video work. You could
do, some music making with your favorite
Yes.
DAW.
Yeah.
That takes up some CPU power.
If you're the creative type, there is so much you can do with some extra horsepower on your computer. Getting out with just your cell phone and shooting some video and seeing if you can put together something that looks cool. Just B-roll montages and random like, ooh, this is artsy and whatnot. That's how you start with learning how to video edit, is tell a story without telling a story. Just get out there and shoot some video. The way I literally started learning how to do videography was I would go to like nieces and nephews' birthday parties and I would video the party from a lot of different angles. And like get down and do a lot of candid video kind of work. And then I would put like together a highlight reel at the end of the video, or at the end of the birthday party. And I believe I started doing that, 7 or 8 years ago, and just kind of flexed those video editing chops as I went along. Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm making a YouTube channel with 110,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And so you grow something that you kind of like or are interested in. Like, I've always been interested in video, but I was always more of a photo guy. I just went, you know what, I kind of want to try this thing out and start flexing those muscles a little bit and get in and let your computer do some bodybuilding for you. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Could also get into making games.
Yep.
Every tool you need to make a video game is free somewhere on the internet.
That's true.
You can do 3D modeling using Blender, which is completely free. And what I understand of the newest version of Blender is that it's even better than ever. People are really digging the new interface and some of the new capabilities it has. You can use the Unity engine, you can use the Unreal engine, you can cop a few bucks on a sale and get Game Maker Studio. Man, the tools are at your fingertips, and you want to get creative, man. It doesn't get more creative than making games, making videos, making music. It's all right there on your computer. You can do it all for almost next to nothing anymore. So,
hey, my watch finally died. All right, 7 days battery life. There you go.
There you go. You heard the review here on Talking Heads, episode 108.
That's right. And Questionable Command says, if anything else, Home Lab, play with PFSense, Proxmox, etc.
There you go.
Learn to build yourself some home services.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Set yourself up a Plex server, a Pi-hole, a DNS server, a VPN.
Those are all really fun, just like little day projects. See if you can get it done in a couple hours.
Right. JJ has a great question. Jeff, any old cases you wouldn't mind building in 2019? I mean, circa 2007 through 2015. There are cases that have always been on my short list that I wanted to build in and never got the opportunity to. Obviously, anything Case Labs. I would love to build in a Case Labs case in 2019. If I was building like the ultimate like behemoth workstation that needed, dual 480 rads or something like that. Obviously, a Case Labs case. If I could go back, I would love to rebuild the first computer that I built brand new. And by brand new, I don't mean like I scavenged new-ish parts, because I did that a couple of times. I built, way back in the day, a 475 megahertz AMD K6-2 base system off like new or new used parts. But the first system that I literally got onto Newegg and Tiger Direct and bought all new parts, brand new, was my i7 920 build. And that case was a Cooler Master CM690. And it was the NVIDIA edition. So it was black with green racing stripes on it and a green acrylic side panel, which was like this cutout with an 80 mil fan still on the side because it was still 2007.
Yeah.
I'd love to find that case and rebuild in that case. Either that or the InWin, I believe it was called the InWin Dragon, and that's another case that I built a brand new system in. And they're just kind of these unique cases out there. I don't know really much else that I would like to build in that's like a really old case.
Yeah.
Because there were some considerations back then that aren't considerations today. Well, how many hard drives can I fit? Yeah. Well, we're on 2.5 inch, not 3.5 inch now.
And you needed your CD drive.
You needed your CD drive, or like 4 CD drives in 2007. Today, not that much of a consideration. And so a lot of these older systems you see with like 6 5.25 bays, I don't even need one. And so what am I going to do with that space besides like filling it up with 3.5 inch bay adapters? And that's just going to look weird after a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, excellent.
Any thoughts on the next gen consoles? They will come. They will sell.
I haven't read.
They'll be fine.
Into any of them.
I haven't read specs on any of them. I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm not expecting anything groundbreaking. I am expecting hardware-based ray tracing to come out from AMD.
Yeah.
Because they've been touting that. PlayStation 5 has already announced it. I'm sure Xbox is going to be hot on the heels with that announcement. And so ray tracing is going to be the next big thing. And if your goal is, 30 FPS, ray tracing is not that difficult. You can do it at 1080p and upscale it to 4K and call it 4K, and everyone will go, "Oh my God, Xbox, 720 ray traces at 4K and PC can't do that." Yeah, let's compare apples to apples and see how that rounds out. So I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm sure they'll sell well. They always do. But they're becoming more and more like PCs every day because that's been the landscape.
Yeah.
And
they really are.
Yeah, so I expect crossplay to be a much bigger thing as Microsoft pushes towards that and Sony is forced to acquiesce that request.
I hope so. Because why not?
Yeah.
It's a new world.
So, yeah, I think some interesting times, but I think the closer we can get together as gamers and not give a flipping crap what the other person is gaming on, the better we'll be.
Yeah. So,
there you go.
There you go.
I think that's going to do it for episode 108.5 here on Talking Heads. You missed episode 108 because we streamed 20 minutes without you.
Yeah.
Thanks again, YouTube.
We had a great time.
Thanks again, YouTube. Join us here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news. After tonight, there's only one more show in this office. On the 11th, you'll be joining me for the first new show in the new house.
As is the custom.
As is tradition.
This is the way.
That's right. Rhett gets first dibs at everything.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
That's
John.
Right. New camera? Oh, Rhett's going to be on that. Right. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a frustrating show, at least from the start, but I think it was a very good show. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy your holiday. Have a nice long weekend. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Enjoy your family, those that can. And we'll see you here next week, 8 p.m. Later, guys.
Beam me up, Scotty.